Hi, my name's Kait James. I'm a proud Wadawurrung woman and artist. We're at my studio in East Brunswick on Wurundjeri country. So in my practice, I embroider Aboriginal calendar tea towels from the 70s and 80s. I think the earliest one I have is 1969, and then they stopped making them, I believe, about 1985. So that was a long period of time where they were reproducing these images of stolen shields and a very stereotypical generalised view of Aboriginal culture. And it's something that I didn't relate to personally. My work's in the Geelong Gallery collection, Colonial Virus, Let Me Breathe, and Every Day is Like Survival. So I started making the tea towel works in 2018 and I'm still making them today. The works in the collection were made in 2020 and made over the period of the year. Colonial Virus was one that I started in March 2020, and it was when the time we all started to wear face masks, we were going into lockdowns and all that kind of thing, and I did embroider the face mask and the gas mask, and then I set it aside for about 6 months. And I think that was because I didn't know what was going to happen that year or what was happening with the virus itself. And it did make me reflect on when Victoria was settled, not only with the viruses that then followed and wiped out, basically the whole of Wadawurrung itself, but also the idea of colonisation and how that is still affecting Indigenous people's lives throughout Australia, and how, a lot of people are still profiting from colonisation, how it did spread like a virus, and even just things like the fake news element of COVID and how you would hear all these things or read a lot of things as well that were incorrect. A lot of that happened during colonisation as well. So that was kind of the thought processes that I was thinking about. I source the tea towels from many different places. I get a lot from, vintage markets, from eBay, from Etsy. Now a lot of people find them for me and give them to me, which is great. I do have boxes and boxes of them. And so sometimes I'll have an idea and I'll get out the box and I'll go through all the tea towels and see which one I want to work with. But then other times I instantly see a tea towel and I can see a work already or see what I want to do to the tea towel. So it depends on what the idea is, I suppose, and that most of my work starts with the idea rather than starts with the tea towel. So how I usually start a tea towel, I'll take a photo of it, and then with my iPad, I'll then mock up what I plan to do on Procreate or something like that. I'll add in text. I really like using text in my work and playing around with different fonts. I'll play around with different colours. I often use a lot of pop culture references, so that's when I'll try out different things. Sometimes I'll bounce ideas off friends and send them a mock up and say, what do you think of this, before going ahead, before actually starting. So once I've kind of mocked up the design, I will sew the canvas on the edge of the tea towel. So that's for once it's finished, it can be stretched similar to a canvas. But then I create stencils for the lettering or the font. And that's because I'm quite particular about how I like the text to look. Yeah, I find my ideas come from a variety of different places. I'm a massive fan of popular culture, so, I might be reading a book, I might be watching television or listening to music. Ideas do come in strange ways. I've got lists and lists and lists in my phone. It might start at something really small and you add to it over time and over time. I find it really helpful, and it's something that's really started to happen more and more, where I've been working on a lot of public art works, and then I've got back, after a couple of months, to starting actual physically making work again, and I find the ideas come. I use a lot of humour in the tea towels, and I think the reason I do that is a bit of a shield, but it's also disarming the viewer. If you can make someone laugh or make something bright and colourful, maybe they'll feel that they can look at it a little bit longer and maybe see the messages that I'm trying to get through to them. I also try and have a few hidden references in the works, just for my own fun. I hide my nickname in all the works, and a lot of people don't know that. And yeah, like friends of mine will also, when they see a new work, they'll know to look for it. So that's something I've done from the very beginning. I studied art in VCE. I did photography and graphic design. After VCE, I did 2 years visual arts and majored in photography, but also did drawing and painting. And then I decided to go down the photography route, and I did a Bachelor of Media Arts Photography at RMIT. It was a strange time. It was early 2000s, and it was when it was changing over from analog to digital. And it was something that I just couldn't kind of wrap my head around, and it wasn't what I wanted to make. So as soon as I finished that, I didn't take another photo. And I didn't really make any art for another maybe 15 years or more. And the way I kind of got back into making art was I went to a Wadawurrung women's workshop, and one of my cousins was teaching us how to do traditional weaving. So I took the traditional weaving and then started using colourful yarn. And that kind of really got me into looking at different embroidery techniques, and that's how I then found punch needling.